Alright, so you got an 01 Nissan Sentra, and the washer fluid reservoir has just started to leak. Basically, you can just kind of pour fluid in and just kind of starts going right out on the ground. You can kind of see a little bit of dirt build up. I'm assuming that might be a crack. Let's see if I can light that up for you a little better. I'm assuming that might be a crack there, but nothing you can easily see visibly. But we're going to go ahead and take the passenger side front tire off. And I believe the access to that reservoir is down under the fender skin. And we'll see what we can do about getting that checked and replaced. Alright, so under the passenger front fender here, I'm going to try first to get this pan off, or this plastic cover, and possible at that point that we can have enough access. If not, we'll go ahead and take the inner fender skin off, which basically has got the little thumb push screws throughout, and also on the top of the fender some Phillips screws. So see how much work we have to do to be able to get to what we want, and pick you back up at that point once we have access to the washer fluid container. Alright, so on the 01 Nissan Sentra, see what's going on with my washer reservoir. Essentially it has broke loose and is just sitting on top of this plastic panel, which is the inside of the fender skin. As you can see, this bolt here normally holds the bottom, which is basically secures this area, and that has come loose either as a result or has caused the top piece to break. And you can see up there the top nut or bolt is actually broken, so it's just kind of suspended and hanging on this panel. So I don't think it's gonna, there's no way of resecuring that. It's probably a $20 part. So that's kind of what we run into, and we'll see what we can do about getting that detached. And we will have to take the inner fender skin here off so that we can get that dropped down and removed. And I will pick you back up once we get that part moving forward. Alright, so back with you again. So on the underside of the passenger fender, you can see you just kind of take the front bolt. Well, you can take all the bolts loose, but you don't really need to work from the back side. Here you can actually just get the front and middle bolts and screws removed and pull this panel, and you actually get access to enough of the washer fluid assembly. As you can see, we have a hose, and I guess that's an electrical connector perhaps to work the motor to actually squirt the fluid. So those are the two connections, and at this point we're basically, now that we got the panel kind of slid out from under it, it's just kind of hanging on the hoses. So I'm going to go ahead and get those disconnected and sat down out of the way and assess the damage. Alright, so we've gotten the washer fluid assembly pulled out. Basically, you do have the electrical connector, which is really a pain, because as you put a screwdriver on the top to try to remove that, the motor kind of gives, and I can't show you that at the moment because part two is, that's one connection. Do that one first. The second one is the reservoir connection for your fluid, and as soon as you yank that off, obviously if you got fluid in it, it's going to go and start leaking out. So I got my finger there holding that, but you can also see this bolt here on the top, and it is elongated, so it may have actually broken as well. So you do have 3 bolts actually securing this in place, and so we're going to go ahead and get this reservoir emptied back into the bottle of washer fluid, and get the information on ordering this replacement part, and we will join you back once we get that part ordered and in. Okay, so picked you back up. Basically, these reservoirs hold a lot, so I've already filled up the container that I had available. So at this point, I had thought about just putting the cap back on and turning it upside down and letting this washer fluid remain in here, or perhaps upside down, but it really doesn't have a rubber seal on the top. It's not really made to retain it upside down, so I'm just going to use a bucket to save what we can, and go ahead and get that part on order. One thing I did want to mention, there is a little crack at the top that kind of was evident on the dirt buildup, so that apparently does get some stress over the years, so this unit is going to need to be replaced. Alright, so I got my parts ordered, and you can actually get it from an online vendor much cheaper than just your local auto parts store. So the assembly actually goes under the fender like this, with the motor assembly toward the back of the car, and you got 4 connection points. You've got this at the rear, you've got 2 under the front fender area. You've also got this little retainer, which actually kind of rests on a hole, which I'll show you under the fender. This back part actually screws into this little retaining clip, and if you put it on this way, on this bracket, it'll actually allow you to do it from the underside. This actually came off when I was screwing it back in. Let me get you a good shot of that. So yeah, this will actually screw from the bottom and hold the back piece, and here's your connection point. Can't get a real good shot of that. Let me get closer. There we go. So this is one connection point, and you can see the old plastic's got to be removed. You've got the second bolt on the bottom, and then this is where that little retainer clip fits in to help support the weight. So those 4 connection points. Once you get that in place, you got your feed line for the washer fluid, and the pump for the connector, which is here. And once you get that done, just put everything back in place and test it, and life should be good. After you refill your reservoir, of course. Alright, so I was actually incorrect on one thing. This bolt in the back actually goes to the littler bolt. This retainer apparently is for part of the fender skin cover. So this was actually broken off. That's the reason I didn't have to remove it the first time. So once you get a line, it'll be very clear that this is the one that holds the back part of the assembly. So we're going to go ahead and back that out and get that secured, and everything else looks great. Again, the motor toward the back, get this stuff connected up, and I'll bring you back. Alright, so what I was able to do, if you start on the back bolt under the fender area, and then put a screwdriver to line the holes up on the top bolt under the front of the car, and get the second one started, kind of go ahead and put your retainer clip in. That kind of helps things stabilize. So at this point, it's actually really sturdy. Haven't got them completely tightened down, but now that I've got the holes aligned, I'm going to go ahead and remove the screwdriver here from the top, and that one's a little harder to get to, but I'll go ahead and get that screw back in, and at that point should be ready to piece her back together. But that might help you, because it's kind of hard to line up the holes starting from the top. So I'm hoping that getting the other ones in place first will help us do that, get that screwed in. Alright, so just wanted to show you the after effects putting on the new reservoir and the new pump, and life works great. So wasn't too tough a job, took a few hours. One thing to keep in mind, you probably will need some extra of the little push, we'll call them push tabs, but basically the retainers under the fender. I've actually got to pick up 3 to finish my job, but they're in a place where I can get to under the fender without having to remove the tire. So that's all good, and I appreciate any and all subscribers. If you would like and subscribe, thanks. Just wanted to do a real quick tail end on this video. Basically tried the pressure washer, and you can see now where it is really spraying high up on the windshield. But the first time when I first put the reservoir in, still didn't quite have the shoot, we'll say, the pressure that I wanted. And what I wound up finding is, which I'm kind of curious if this may had been the issue in the whole beginning, but at this point we're a little too deep to go back now. But let me see if I can't get you up here. But you've got the connection points for the wiper, like right, I can't tell if that's coming through the video, sorry if it's not, but you've got your connection points here right above the bottom of the hinge, around the hinge area, more toward the middle of the hood. But anyway, that is actually where your connection points are for the wiper stream to come from. And again, that's right under the bottom side of the hood. So this right side connection was actually very loose, maybe even disconnected. So once I found that, after I replaced the pump and the assembly, stream is really good. Just want to mention that as something to check. I did not replace the feeder hose for the washer fluid. I just reattached what was there because I wasn't really sure where all it goes, and it takes some work to replace that, so I did not, and my stream at this point is back to normal. But just word of advice, just check that as before you go through the whole work of replacing the assembly and the pump, just to see if that may be an issue for you.